Hello. Welcome, everyone. So happy that you could be here. This is for those of you that are new, this is going to be a little bit different today. I am very emotionally involved in this topic. And when I get going, I'm going to reveal something that I just found out. And it's very made me realize how important what I'm about to say to all of you is. First, do you like my top? Top of the day. I had to wear something. I love this top. And so this is Double Decker Delora Day. Fab 4 is tonight. So I wanted to wear it. It is absolutely gorgeous. When I tell you it is beautiful, the bottom has like a weekender wide band with slits. If you like it, go to joincountry.com, Delora's Closet, or in the description, there's a link to it. It's very that trendy, oversized feel. I'm in the small/medium. There's also a large, extra large, but for my 2X friends, you absolutely can get the large, extra large. I promise you there is tons and tons of room in this. It is just absolutely gorgeous. I actually might keep it on all day and wear it tonight too. I love it. I love it. So go check it out. Please always remember, I don't know how much this top is. I think they're in the 30s, but you have to remember something. Everything on joincountry.com is free US shipping. So this top ends up like in the 20s because you're not paying shipping. Remember that. It's one of those tops you'd find at Bloomingdale's. Just beautiful. Okay. Also, Jenna wanted me to tell you that, this is called Stark Contrast Top, but she wanted me to tell you that Saturday Steal sale is going on, 10% off your entire order. So here you go. You got this, free shipping, 10% off. It's like, what? So, it's just one of those things. Also, she put up some new stuff. You can go in the new sale. It's up to 65% off. And yes, free shipping even on those. Doesn't even matter. So also tonight on my Rumble channel, rumble.com, put in Delora OBrien, The Gathering. We're going to be doing a Fab 4 on moving on up. Really great show. We had music because of Charlie, and we have laughs. I mean, it's just a lot of information. Dennis is going to do a double header debt clock decoder tonight. So this is going to be awesome. Then Sunday nights, The Gathering at Solomon's Porch. That's our online church service. Please join us again over on Rumble at 6 p.m. Eastern. Okay, if you want to know where to find me, though, if you're new, go in the description. You'll find how to get this top and also all the media links below. And last but not least, there will not be an OTC on Monday. I have some family things I have to attend to. So I'll see you I'll see you tonight, Sunday night, and then next Wednesday. Okay, so let me tell you why I did this. I'm going to give you a little background, as I always do, in how this started, but I've got to have you understand what happened and why I'm doing this, and probably why I'm going to do it at least once a month or maybe more, different aspects of it. I started a new hair salon. Okay, I'm very into organic, natural. I have been for many years. And there's a hair salon near us called True Organic Hair Salon. So that's where Jenna and I go. And I couldn't get an appointment. Now I want you to hear God in this. You're going to hear what God did. Okay. God is when I tell you, literally, he knows every hair on your head. Count it. He does. You are his beloved. You are his children. I saw God moving in my life. Probably, I've said this to Dennis, probably in awe like I haven't He's always moved. I see him in everything. But this was so sovereign. So this is what happened. I went to this new hair salon, and it was the exact same time Jenna found it. We found it the exact same time. Then I go to try to get an appointment, and I can't. I got to rearrange an entire schedule because, you know, my life is crazy busy. And I did it because I wanted to go. I wanted to talk to them. I wanted to hear about this Italian hair dye because I know hair dye is bad. So I went at this time that I didn't want to go, but I was forced into. So when I got there and I was done speaking to the girl that cut my hair, she was telling me, we were talking about food and she's into health and everything. And she was saying about this, if you take little clips of your bottom of your hair and you send it in, that test really reveals a lot to you about your health, minerals your body needs, things like that. So I said, well, where do you get it? Where does that happen? So I'm walking out and she said, this doctor, functional health, medicine, health body, whatever she is, and then naturopath, she works with another doctor and they do this along with other tests. And I'm like, you're kidding. So needless to say, I said, can we sit down for a second? I want to ask you some questions. She said, sure. So we sat down and we took each other's hands. Well, both of us started crying. Straight up, not kidding you. Crying. It was deep calling unto deep. I said to her, are you a believer? She said, absolutely. Well, I made an appointment to have a consultation, Dennis and I, with her and her partner, okay? They explained the hair test to us. They explained other tests maybe we should get. Now, you got to understand, I'm being led by the nose like breadcrumbs. I could take this entire hour and explain to you even how I got to that point. It is mind-boggling. So we had the consultation. We ordered a toxic load test, which is really important to find out the heavy metals that are in your body. I'm going to go into something else, but I can't do it now. Okay, so I'm being held back. I can't do that now, but I'm going to explain this to you. We got the results back day before yesterday. Shocked. When I tell you shocked, I sat and looked at those tests and said, this has got to be wrong. This has got to be wrong. I saw Dennis tests. This is how it's every heavy metal in the atmosphere, in food, okay? Hair dye. Went through every single one. This is why I'm doing today. Every single one. What happens is, if you're in the green, which is the okay zone, it's not affecting your body, you're good. Those results are at the bottom. If you're in the moderate, in the yellow, those tests are in the middle. But if you're in the red, they're all on the top. Well, 80% of all the metals that they tested for, I was all the way over on the red, all the way over. Not in the middle of the red, all the way over on the red. Dennis had about a third of the red that I had. I was, needless to say, I was shocked. If you know me, I have been into food health, only eat organic, grow some of our own stuff, make my own food, make my own bread, grind things myself. I am an earth mother that loves makeup. Okay? That's basically me. My whole life. Never even used disposable diapers. Use cloth diapers because I know how bad it is for the environment. And at some point, we're gonna have disposable diapers on our lawn. They're gonna have more places to put them. So you have to know that. And I get this test results. Needless to say, I started looking up. You guys, thank you for the suggestions, and you can give them to me. Just write to ddgathering at gmail.com. I'm working, Dennis and I are working with these naturopaths. They're absolutely brilliant with this stuff. I'm, we're in the process now. But what happened was I started taking each metal and looking. For example, for years, I drank good water in a plastic bottle, even Fiji. Now I drink only out of glass. I've been doing that for about the past year. My BPAs were off the chart, literally off the chart. On and on and on. But what I discovered is that chemtrails is probably one of the biggest contributors to what I'm dealing with. Now, I'll tell you what happened to me. I knew they weren't good. I had a couple people that I trusted that said, no, they're okay, which I don't trust that anymore because I did my own research. You'll never convince me that what is going on in this guy's is good. Never. You're a liar. Okay? That's how strongly I feel after I got these tests back. So what is going on? They're killing us. Okay? They're killing us. It's going to be a very impassioned. I got hope at the end, though. Such hope at the end that I cried when I saw this. Okay? I went down the chemtrail rabbit hole because what happens is it's programming. I'm not above programming. And every day you see that and it's over and then they spread. And then the next 2 days, it's just a blanket and you get used to it. You get used to it. You know, when I was a kid, I would look up and the clouds looked like pillowy, billowy, like cotton, you know, and they were so beautiful. And I remember, and I remember learning in school, you know, there's 4 types of clouds: the cirrus and the cumulus and the stratus and the nimbus. And I remember learning all that. And I loved it. As I told you, I was always looking up. I was always about the stars. I loved that. I love travel. I love exploration. Just who I am. So they programmed me. Okay. And I realized that after spending the last 2 days studying this, that chemtrails is a gateway truth. Now, what do I mean by a gateway truth? Chemtrails is one of those truths that you don't have to dig for. It's like, oh, today's not bad. Wait for it. Wait for it. There it is. Now they try to say they're contrails. That's BS. That can be in a second. You can get rid of that because contrails disappear immediately. And you don't get contrails don't suddenly the sky's clear and then 12 planes are like this crisscrossing each other. That's not contrail. Who's in that passenger plane? So needless to say, I went down the chemtrail rabbit hole because I was forced to go down the chemtrail rabbit hole. And I want to tell you something. I'm not alone. Part of me wishes I never got that done. I mean it. Part of me wishes that. But it was God. See, it was God. He led me. I mean, when I tell you I was led supernaturally, that I am in awe. Can't even reveal half of it to you, what God did. You'll notice if you really watch chemtrails now. Some are corkscrews, some are straight, some are ripples, like they're rippled edges, and then some go straight, and then you'll see another plane cross it at a specific point. What they're doing is they're combining those two because it creates a toxic soup. Then what you notice is the next day is probably gorgeous, clouds everywhere. See, they did that. And then the next day or the day after, it rains and they bring it all to the ground. Now, let me tell you how interesting it is. Then I'm going to get into how this started because it's going to blow your mind. Yesterday, day before yesterday, we had trails everywhere. No, two days ago, we had trails everywhere. The next day was billowy clouds. Yesterday was the blanket, like you could see nothing. The sun was hazy. And I said to Dennis, it's going to rain today. We looked it up everywhere. No, there was no forecast for rain because naturally there was no front coming in. There was nothing. Nothing was coming in. So it said sunny. Well, wouldn't you know, 4 o'clock, torrential downpour, then stops like that. We looked at each other and looked out at our patio that was soaked. That wasn't forecasted because they have a pattern. Now, what's going to happen today? It's a little bit overcast. Now, in the next day or two, here they come again. I discovered that there is an absolute pattern to this. But let me tell you how this began. In 1923, right after World War I, our government was experimenting with trying to stop planes from, how can I say it? Trying to put a cloud formation across the sky deep so that when planes from the enemy would enter it, they would get disillusioned and disoriented. Okay. That's when it started. And then in the 30s, they started putting dry ice because that worked. Dry ice into clouds to see what effect that would have. Could they make it even more so? So when you hear people tell you that, oh no, that's the country, our country stop, and all over the world. Now, this isn't just the United States. It's actually, I believe, like a NATO thing. But this country covered, all over with that. It's so the enemy can't, and it stops radar, and the enemy can't see, and look, this is where they got it from. They got it from the 20s, 30s, and 40s. Great. I'm happy they're a historian, but that's not what's going on now. In 1946, okay, I'm gonna just, for those of you, I'm sorry, I got to show this, and then I'm going to go to the next thing because I'm going to go to Project Cirrus. This is what most of our skies look like. Okay, see how beautiful blue it was underneath? Then there's this. But now there's, in 1946 to 1950s, is Project Cirrus. Now, what I find very interesting, and I posted this because I want you guys to be able to look all this stuff up if you want. This is report number RL756. General Electric Research Laboratory. Remember AT&T? Now we got General Electric. I could tell you a story about General Electric, but it'll take me down a road. I do not want to go there. Okay? So, history of Project Cirrus. What they did is this was about cirrus clouds. Let me just explain what cirrus clouds are. They are high-level clouds that are composed of ice crystals and appear as thin, wispy lines in the sky. You've seen those little wispy lines They're usually white or light gray and often seen at high altitudes, okay? So now they want to seed cirrus clouds to see if they can control the weather. General Electric was involved with this and also in financing, okay? So what they did is they started putting dry ice and silver dioxide. You can thank Bernard, Vonnegut. You can look him up, Vonnegut, for this. It was his brainchild. And they first did it, let me take this down, in New Mexico, Priest River, Idaho, Hawaii, and Puerto Rico. Now, this is Project Cirrus, okay? This is EPA website. I got an official website of the United States government. I get all that in for you, so you see I'm telling you the truth. Final rule for finding that greenhouse gas emissions from aircraft cause or contribute to air pollution that may reasonably anticipated to endanger public health and welfare. Did you see that? Did you see that? That's from the EPA. You can go get that right now on the EPA website. And this was the conclusion of that report. I'm going to read it to you. The science of weather control can be such great benefit to the entire country. This is why they said it's okay. That the responsibility for its advancement must rest with the government. Legislation. EPA, this is the EPA saying this after they just said how bad it was and it will endanger public health. That the government and private groups should invest in this because it's going to solve scientific problems connected with the weather. At the time of the preparation of this, no national legislation has been enacted yet. So what they started doing with Project Cirrus is still happening now. The same time it was Project Cumulus was happening. And this is cumulus clouds. They're the puffy white clouds that can appear alone or in clusters. They're seen on warm, sunny days. Cumulus clouds can grow tall enough to become towering cumulonimbus clouds, which can produce thunderstorms. Okay? Now, the next thing they did, Project Cirrus going, Project Cumulus going. In the mid-50s to the late 60s, it's called Project Skyfire. Listen to this. The aim was to determine the possibility of reinventing lightning fires by cloud seeding. Now, I know you say, a lot of you, that it was the DEW, the DEW, that hit Maui and did damage there, and could absolutely be correct. But let me tell you what else is going on. Metal attracts. Towers attract lightning. You see the low clouds during, like Project Skyfire, you're going to get all kinds of lightning hitting things, going to blow stuff up. There's so much going on in our skies. That's why they try to get your eyes off that and put it on rockets. That's what NASA does, okay? So Project Skyfire, more silver iodide. Now they add acetone. Do you know how deadly acetone is that they're now taking it out of nail polish remover? It is that deadly. I used it for years removing nail polish. I'm sure all of you guys did as well. Then came, wait till you hear this one, Operation Ranch Hand. Most of you know this, during the Vietnam War. Our U.S. military, from 1962 to 1971, it's our U.S. military, sprayed 19 million gallons. They called it defoliants and herbicides over rural areas of South Vietnam, attempting to deprive the Vietnamese of food and vegetation cover. What do I call that? I call it barbaric. I call it barbaric. The Air Force did this under the call sign Hades. There were well-known carcinogens, Agent Orange. Now, let me tell you about Agent Orange. I lost a family member and a friend to Agent Orange. There was also Agent Green, pink, purple, blue, and white, all different chemicals. They sprayed it 50 times. A chemical mixture, a chemical soup of toxins. So what was the result of that? The Vietnamese aren't enemies. The two governments are enemies to each other. We're not enemies with the Vietnamese. We're not enemies with the Jewish people. We're not enemies with the Palestinians. We're not enemies with the Russians. Let me tell you what they did. Long-term destruction on these poor people by our own servicemen under orders from our government. I'm sorry. I'm furious. You go look up the children that were born after Agent Orange was dropped. They've got 4 eyes. They've got 3 arms. It's disgusting. Human beings. And let me tell you something. I looked up the statistics of this world. For every leader that wants to do this, there's 1 million of us. What are we doing? Sitting back? I'm not sitting back no more. I'm looking for every way I can fight this chemtrail thing. Every way possible. Listen, God led me here. Obviously, this is where he wants me. I don't know what to do. If any of you have a direction I can go in to join forces with someone, I will absolutely do it. So let me tell you what happened. The U.S. government exposed over 5 million people to Agent Orange, resulting in 400,000 immediate deaths. Immediate and horrific deformities. I couldn't even look. I cried. I couldn't even look. I couldn't even look at the deformities in these babies. These innocent people that just want to live. That's all they want to do is live. It's still found in the soil in Vietnam today. From the 60s, over 50 years later. So then came EMF, ELF, HF, frequency research. HARP, high frequency active auroral research program. We know about HARP. Not everything is HARP, guys. Not everything is HARP. Don't go blame everything on HARP. Don't do it. Because it'll keep you single-minded. Don't do it. It's all over. It's all over. And I am happy to say that Mr. T hates chemtrails. I found 5-6 quotes from him. So I want you to know that if someone else emerges, just know that. Do you know that these programs, one that HARP did, the frequencies they use are so powerful that it can change the direction of the Gulf Stream? Think about that. 1980, NBC News said, science and the government are exploring the possibility that if they seed the sky, they can stop the warming of the planet. Nice cover story. And make sure farmers have enough water for their crops. See, they call this solar engineering. They're trying to stop the sun. It's all about sticking it in God's face, wrecking those he loves. It's all about, this is spiritual, guys. This is spiritual. It may play itself out in the natural, but it really is spiritual. Then this is called solar geoengineering. Okay, climate change. Stop the heating up of the earth. Yeah, it's heating up, all right. Ask Chicago in the winter, see if they're heating up. By 1995, they said by 2025, get this, they will be able to completely control the weather and avert climate change. They said that in 1995. You know what this is? This isn't global warming. This is the great global warming swindle. That's what the is. Perpetrated on the people of the world, the lie that the planet is heating up at such a rate we will all die. But in the meantime, don't wait for the planet to heat up to kill us. Kill us now. That'll help it. So what do? Fill our skies with chemicals, control the population, make more money on drugs because they're making us sick. We go to the doctor gives us drugs, pharmaceutical company gets wealthy. It's a plot. Wake up. Hello? Anybody home? You got to spread this video. People got to wake up. I'm done. Why so many food allergies? My mom and dad never had food allergies. I have food allergies up the kazoo. What? Why so much autism? You think it's because of these, and it is, but it's because of that too. Why so much mental illness like never before? I'm dealing with this in my family. I'm dealing with this in my, I don't even understand it. Why so much cancer like never before? But the biggest one, dementia and Alzheimer's. That's what that does. The evil is not just in America. It is a global event. It's a global evil event. 1994, during the Iraq War, they used chemtrails, barium trails to track insurgents. And you saw the tick-tock-tack pattern in the sky in 1994 in Iraq. Wasn't America. It wasn't America. It was NATO laying these trails over Iraq. You wonder why Mr. T wanted out of NATO? A lot we don't know. 1996, NATO came to America. So did chemtrails. That's when it started. What you're seeing in the sky is a foreign military operation. Maybe that's why American whistleblowers had to come forward. There's a lot of them. And NASA probably involved as well because of their $60 million a day budget. Because now, if you look, and I don't know if you're close, like we're pretty close to be able to see this, they are sending up. Wow. Hold on. Thank you, Renee, for letting me know that. I'm going to post this real quick. DY Vines. It was my dad's job to fly over to make sure Agent Orange was working and if it needed more spray. I suffered from extreme autoimmune disorders and food tolerances my entire life. I'm so sorry. I could cry. DY Vines. I'm so sorry. Wow. Okay, let me continue. It's horrible. Okay, NASA is sending up drones. So how do you know the chemtrails are coming from planes or drones? You'll see them coming from more toward the ground, going up than coming from this side. Okay, so they're hitting both ways, just so you know. Most times you don't realize it, but if they're going this way and it crosses, they'll bring a drone up to cross it right where they need it. It's just, they have a scientific, it's like a scientific formula. Okay. They have, NASA has a chemical program called CARE. Could you imagine this? CARE, C-A-R-E. It stands for Charged Aerosol Release Experiment. Go look it up. They have a barium release rocket patent. So they can release barium in the air whenever they want. So let's forward to the 2000s, okay? Major upheaval in Congress between Al Gore and Steve Scalise. Scalise said I could not download it. I found it. It took me hours. I found one. I couldn't download it. I went to every way possible. Free downloaders. I paid for downloaders. I couldn't download it. Go look for it. It's on this platform. You really have to dig, but it's worth finding for one reason. I'm gonna get a little slightly political on you here. because this is very important, what I discovered. So major upheaval between Al Gore and Steve Scalise. Scalise said he didn't believe climate change was real. Gore lost it. This is in front of Congress now. Said this is how we're controlling climate if we control the solar bioengineering, and it's going to save the planet. And Scalise said, at what cost to how many American lives? So now I'm going to do a little aside for you here about Steve Scalise, okay? He's one of the only people. There's a few more. I'm not going to go into that now. Maybe I'll go into that another one. Maybe I have to. That I trust in Congress. He served as House Majority Leader since 2023. He also served in the Senate as well as the House in 2017, right after the election of Mr. T, which he was a big proponent of. He was shot at a congressional baseball game and almost died, but he made it through. God made sure he made it through. We're not through seeing him yet. I truly wish Mr. T would consider him for VP. That's how much I love this guy. In 2021, January, the day in January, Scalise voted to DE, certify the FAKE, Fake 46 victory in Arizona and Pennsylvania. Would have changed everything. He was one of the few that voted for that. He also condemned the attack that in January that Mr. T is dealing with. He said it was all set up, and it was set up by our own government. In February 2021, more than a month after Fake 46 inauguration, Scalise refused to acknowledge that it was real. He voted against establishing a national commission to investigate Mr. T and his involvement in that day in January. On October 3rd, 2023, Kevin McCarthy was removed as House Speaker. Yay. House Republicans, listen to me, most don't know this, chose Scalise, even over Jim Jordan, as their candidate for Speaker by a huge margin. Nobody said anything. I'm not sure, it was either the next day or 2 days later. Scalise himself withdrew his name from being considered. Watch Scalise. No one is watching him. I am. You should as well. He is a huge opponent to chemtrails. In 2014, he said that the government sells permits to anyone who wants to use their planes to deposit gas emissions in the sky. So they're paying private people to do this and private companies to make chemtrails. 2013, Professor David Keith, the guru behind geoengineering, was on the Colbert Report. Listen to this. If you just send people here to listen to this, get the timestamp and play it for them. Watch this.
Spray sulfuric acid into the stratosphere 20 kilometers over our head and use that to stop the planet warming up in a ugly tech fix.
You can spray something into the atmosphere to change.
Spray pollution into the atmosphere to stop it warming.
How do you do this?
You'd start with a fleet of modified business jets and say 20,000 tons of sulfuric acid into the stratosphere every year. And each year you have to put a little more. And this doesn't, in the long run, mean that you can forget about cutting emissions. We will need to rein in emissions.
No, we'll get to it eventually. But in the meantime, we're shrouding the earth in sulfuric acid.
So people are terrified about talking about this because they're scared that it will prevent us cutting emissions.
Right, and also that it's sulfuric acid.
We put 50 million tons of sulfuric acid in the air now as pollution, and it kills 1 million people a year worldwide.
Okay, but it'll be better if we put more in.
We're talking about 1% of that.
1% more, we're just killing 10,000 more people.
You can do math.
That's real. That's real. The man admits it's killing 1 million people a year. Every year we're going to add 10% more. And well, what does that do? Well, that kills 1% more people. So in 10 years, that's 10% more people. So now we're at you. Do you understand how nuts this is? Who do you think, besides NATO, besides our own government and all the governments around the world, besides private people, who do you think is one of the biggest donors? Bill Gates. But this is the tip of the iceberg, okay? 1950s and 1960s. Let me tell you what was going on. Human biological testing was done by injecting these chemicals into people's bodies to see if they put it over our heads, if it would kill us. This was done without people knowing. Where? St. Louis, Missouri. Then in Corpus Christi, Texas, same time, during the 60s, government placed chemicals on tops of the highest buildings and released them into the atmosphere to test if that would be high enough to form clouds. And that would cover the city if they were attacked by air. Morning, noon, and night, they would monitor the medical effects on people and keep blasting it in Corpus Christi, Texas. They took stats of what diseases appears, what instant reactions to substances. Now, we hear a lot, and we've been programmed to believe that only the people that live in the U.S. are good people, and only our government are good, and that everybody else in the world is bad. You can't tell me that's not true. I was brought up with that. Venezuela, bad. Cuba, bad. Russia, bad. Bad. Everybody's bad. We're good. We're good. Halo, Americans. Hugo Chavez, you know his name. The dictator we were taught is the worst person in the whole world. Venezuela, from 1999 until he died in 2013. Here's a quote. Here's what he said. The United States of America is playing God. They are causing planetary eruptions, earthquakes, tornadoes, and the experiments are affecting every human on the planet. Quote, unquote. That's Chavez said that. We were taught he was a murderer and controlled Venezuela like a police state. So what's true? Is anything we were taught true? I don't know. 2013. Three-letter agency begins with C. Gets involved in climate engineering. Yay. Whoop, whoop. They're now overseeing the solar radiation management. And they're putting balloons in the sky, spraying of particles. Isn't that nice? They came forward and said, I quote, decades down the line, we will know how this will affect humans. But nothing to worry about right now. Of course, HARP, I already went into them. Their strongest instrument they use is called the ionospheric research instrument, which is a high-powered radio frequency transmitter. HARP was funded, get this, sitting down, by the U.S. Air Force and the U.S. Navy and several Ivy League colleges. Warm and fuzzy yet? 1993, HARP began its work under the guise of analyzing the ionosphere and investigating its potential use for radio communication and surveillance. See, those are the people that are saying, those are good. Those are good, see? Because we need it. It's stopping radio communications. It's stopping, so we don't get nuked. Let me tell you, folks, a nuclear bomb is the last thing I'm worried about. I'm not worried about a nuclear bomb. That's like a joke now. They don't have to do that. Why? Why wreck the world for them? Work from HARP includes producing high-density plasma clouds in Earth's upper atmosphere, studying geomagnetic storms, and the ELF generation study. You guys got to look into that. It's called extremely low frequency. That's a whole rabbit hole all by itself. So let's stop there for a second. But I'm going to tell you this about ELF, okay? I'm not going to go down it a lot, but I'm going to tell you this. ELF, okay, the people who do this, our government, work like this with the World Health Organization, the WHO, okay? On the WHO website, when it talks about ELF, it says this. I'm going to read it. WHO's assessment of any health risks produced by EMF, emitting technologies, falls within the responsibilities of the International EMF Project. One of the goals of the International EMF Project is therefore to carry out health risk assessments of RF, ELF, and static fears published in the environmental health criteria. The health risk assessments, see, it's a risk reward is what they're looking at. Okay, we get the reward of stopping the sun because we believe the whole earth is going to melt and kill us, versus 1 million people a year. It's okay. That's okay. We know what to do. We live above it. We know the place to live. They're not going to do it. And we wear masks, gas masks. So the health risk reward assessments are the result of in-depth critical reviews conducted through independent scientific peer review groups. They are usually undertaken if new data changes the evaluation. If there is public concern for health affects the agent because of greater exposure, we will worry about that in time and in the future. Well, thank you very much. Thanks. It makes me feel warm and fuzzy there as well. Okay, so what is going on? Let me play this last video for you.
Trails are also called solar geoengineering. It's also called solar radiation management. It's also called stratospheric aerosol injections. Okay, and what they like to do is they like to confuse us with the terminology. It's all one thing, right? It's all chemtrails, it's all geoengineering, it's all solar radiation management, stratospheric aerosol injections, whatever word you want to give it, it's all treason. It's very, very obvious that chemtrail does not behave like an actual cloud formation. It forms out and fades into a milky haze, all right? Irregular pattern of appearance, the number of trails seen simultaneously at a given time. When you're sitting out there and it's a normal day and then all of a sudden a dozen planes show up and grid the sky, whereas you've seen 3 planes all day, something is going on there. That's it. It's that simple. How come all of a sudden all the planes show up at once and zigzag the sky? We got broken trails, all right? Things are going on where they're mixing chemicals in the sky. They're using the atmosphere as a laboratory. That is a quote from NASA. Using the atmosphere as a laboratory. Okay, the exhaust is often coming where the engines are not. Okay, this wakes the people up.
Okay, let me give you a couple more. I'm running late and I want to get to the end. So look up these people, okay? Ted Grunderson. He was found dead in his home a year ago. At one point, listen to this. He was an FBI director, over 700 rank and files reporting to him. He went public. It cost him his life. He said, birds are dying. Fish are dying. This is genocide and it's a crime. Kristen Megan, look her up, former Air Force, said we're being programmed to see the sky differently. And no matter what you eat, it's affecting our air and water and in turn our bodies. Whistleblowers in Ireland, look him up, Terry Lawton in 2016. Now I'm going to read you something. No, I don't have, I'm not going to do that. I want to get to something else. It doesn't matter. You know, the EPA is corrupt. CNBC covered this, okay? They looked into the chemtrail Alzheimer's link. You can find it. You got to look hard. But CNBC actually exposed some of this stuff. The link, they had doctors on. Again, couldn't download it. But I'll tell you the most amazing thing to me is bees are now added to the endangered species list. They're dying all over the planet because of chemtrails. You know, when you saw the fish all over everybody's like, what? Why are these fish dying? The birds everywhere. Why are the birds dying? Yeah, look up. That's why it's happening. The problem is that they inject sulfates. It's one of the things they do. And if that doesn't stick to what they needed to stick to, then they go back and they inject aluminum and barium and all kinds of other stuff. So, okay, so what do we do? Well, obviously, we pray. This needs to be on the top of our list and bombard God. But he's already doing it. Look what's happening. Spread this for people. Like, just watch this. You could look up in the sky and see it. You could say to people, do the clouds you see now, what you see in the sky, is that the same as when you were young? But here is the best news. This is what I've waited to share with you. Somebody shared it in the chat earlier. Our state governments are waking up. And let me tell you, we live in there's a universe that goes by this. It's a type of response. It's called holographic fractal. Okay, and what it happens is a hologram is like, I don't want to go into what it is. Just trust me. Look it up. Holographic fractal. And what it means is we are also connected. That what is happening in one state will roll over and start happening every other place, even in other places around the world. So let's see what's playing out. Okay, let's look at our Earth. Let's go to North America and let's go to the state of Tennessee. Here I am in the middle of finding all this out. And I discover that one state, individuals came together and fought against tyranny. They just passed a bill banning chemtrailing. Let me read it to you. I'm happy to do so. It's pretty short. It says what it has to say. I won't go into all of the stuff that it's saying, but hold on. Okay, let me get to the bottom. The Tennessee Code, annotated Title 68, Chapter 201, Part 1, is amended by adding the following as a new section, okay? The intentional ejection, release, or dispersion by any means of chemicals, chemical compounds, substances, or apparatus within the borders of the state of Tennessee into the atmosphere with the express purpose of affecting temperature, weather, or the intensity of sunlight is prohibited. This act takes effect July 1st, 2024 for the public welfare. Okay? Now, one state senator, I started watching and reading about this. One state senator said, now I can go home and speak to my wife because she has been telling me to do something about this since I got into office. And now I will have peace in my home. Now, I'm not sure you guys realize it, but within that same bill, you got to really dig, you'll find it says this. Now, I don't know if you know this, but across our country, they are now injecting, it's called MR. All right, MR, you know the other two letters? Let me say, now I can say NA. Gene distortion. The government is putting it in various fruits, lettuce, spinach, pork, and beef, in an effort to get it into our bodies. In that bill, let me read it to you. Small portion. Tennessee Senate Bill 0099, also known as HB 0299, prohibits the sale, distribution, or preparation of any food or meat products that contains that material unless the product's label explicitly indicates that is in it, and then it will be classified as a drug, not food. So, Tennessee. I'm going to probably buy a picture of Bill Lee and put it on my wall. according to the past, holographic fractal, and looking what's happening in Tennessee. There's other states now looking into this. Illinois, Pennsylvania, I forget a couple others. People are letting their voice be heard. Finally, Tennessee legislation and Pennsylvania, Dennis is saying. I guess he's been looking it up. So it is Pennsylvania as well. I know Illinois is questioning it. This is the best news I've gotten probably in 20 years. Tennessee. Now, let me tell you what else they did. I'm not going to go down this road, but if you want, go look up what they're trying to do to the banks in Tennessee. And the bank said, if you do this, we're pulling out of Tennessee. Tennessee is killing it, folks. Killing it. I'm calling Florida legislators and saying, what are you going to do about this? Because I'll tell you something. If they're not doing nothing about it, Tennessee's going to get real crowded real fast. And that's my off the cuff for today. You have questions? 3 question marks. And I eat spinach like a drug. Eve, spinach and lettuce are the top 2. Top 2. You can get it. Keeping the faith. You can get it anywhere. Go online and put Tennessee. Everybody's trying to say that Tennessee is destroying the world now because of doing this. Annie Ashton, wouldn't this be proof of flat earth and the firmament? If no firmament would all dissipate in a higher atmosphere, it doesn't. There's so many proofs. People don't care. People don't care, Annie. You know what? And I'll tell you something. And I don't mean to sound like, I'm leaving one thing for another. I'm all about truth in every area. I'm not totally convinced about all of that yet. I'm getting there, but there's a couple of questions I have, but that's on the bottom right now. Okay. When you get back test results I got back, and even Dennis to a lesser degree, but Dennis, when you get test results like that, worrying about the shape of the earth, I could care less if it's a freaking square. I know it's important, but let me tell you, we are being killed right now. We are being killed. Hold on. Johnson OGX shampoo causes hair loss. Oh, guys, I'm going to give you, hold on. I'm going to give you something. Thank you, Island Girl. It goes way beyond formaldehyde and everything, though. Believe me. And I thank you for saying that, but let me just stop for a second. I'm going to give you what you need to download to check your makeup, check all this stuff, check everything. It's called Clearya, Clearya. You can download it on your phone. It's an app. You go in and you check. You can check your makeup. You can check your everything you used. You go on there. You just put a link in there, like on Amazon, or a link on, what are the other? You'll read it and you'll get it. But that will tell you everything. Okay, let me see what else we got here. David, I'm sorry to tell you this. Whole Foods is one of the worst. I don't shop there. Okay. How about the skywriting planes? You have been laced with something since they lasted in the sky a while. Remember Wizard of Oz surrendered that it was in the 30s. Cynthia, I don't know that, but this is my feeling. If they did, we'd be reading all kinds of stuff in the sky. If that, I don't know. I don't see them often anymore, years ago, but I have no idea. I'm sorry. Elf, do you have any idea if any effects on frequency patches are used to cure illness? It might. Kaikemi, I would definitely check it because the information that I have dug up and shared with you here, and I am not using this as a cliche, this is the literal tip of the iceberg. Literally. At 6 to 7 in the 1970s, I dreamt of a checkerboard sky. Didn't make sense until about 10 years ago. Love the show. Thank you, Renee Annette. Yeah, well, that was prophetic. Where to find list of states like Tennessee? There are no others. There are no others, Frederick. That's the only one that has passed it. It goes in effect July 1st of this year. They're getting nailed like you can't believe. My suggestion, okay, very strong suggestion, is that you call your city, your congressional representative, you call the capital, state capital, you applaud Tennessee for what they're doing. You call Tennessee, you thank them, you go on Facebook website, you thank Tennessee. You've got to do this. See, this has got to be, we have to be the peer pressure. Look, guys, nobody's going to do this if you don't. Okay? So if you get off here and you go watch TV and you don't do what I said, you're part of the problem. Let me just tell you straight up. You don't have to like me. Unfollow me. I could care. I was put on this earth to do this. I know that now. I'm hoping I save people's lives this way. So do what you have to do. Be part of the solution. I beg you. I can't do this all alone. Do you believe organic lettuce is treated with that? Palazzo Place, I don't. But remember, organic is 96% organic. It's not 100% organic. I don't know what the other 4% is. Why do these Hannibals have rights of God to deal with our destiny, and blackberries are every year more than every year? Bye. No, Sheila Cape, I don't believe that. I believe God caught it in time. I'm sorry. I believe if you were living in my life in the past week and how I was led step by step, that God made sure that I had that done. I never would have had that done. I didn't even know about that test. I was looking for the little hair thing. I was in the right place at the right time that God could get this over to me so I could get it over to you. Do you think Mr. T will go on and need to put an end to this? Yes, I do, Brenda. Yes, I do. He is dead set against this. And if I tell you, and I'm sorry if you don't believe me and you don't remember, those years he was in that thing in DC, 1/10 of what I see now. 1/10. Yes, they are trying to murder us through air, water, TV, phones, churches. Yeah, David, exactly. Best source to get water from. Okay, so let me tell you what we do. Honey, if you could, I don't know the name of that company. It's best. Carol, let me tell you, it's best to buy spring water, okay, in big glass jugs. And if you can, if you break it down, how much it costs, if you buy bottles and stuff, if you drink tap water, I don't know what to tell you. You're taking your life in your hands. But if you buy bottles of water, you could probably save money by getting a machine that you put these glass, not plastic, glass, big glass, 5-gallon, 10-gallon, whatever they are, bottles in, and getting it from there. And I'm hoping Dennis finds it for me. But until then, And I'm taking more time here because this is extremely important. Do you think, Blue Mountain Girl, I answered that. Yes, I think he will. Deb, he knows all about it. He's very against it. Joyce Fry, is there one geographic area worse than the other? In what state would that be? Thank you for all you do. Joyce, my friend, I wish I knew. I have, before here, I looked up to Montana, Wyoming, seeing if maybe those areas, I know none that is better than the other. I just don't. Water.com, okay, is where we get it from. Water.com. Interesting. That's where we get it from. Curious Tadpole, as long as we've known about this, it's amazing no one stopped it. I guess those who speak up get dead. Well, here's the thing. You now have, we're in a whole different ballgame with Tennessee. With all these things, what are your thoughts on the rapture? Off topic. Won't go there, Eve. Sorry. Can you give us links you came across to share with our state? We need to push this and pray God helps us to get to the right people. Look, if you go through this, Galway Girl, and you write down the names I gave you and the people, and like David Keith, that video, it's everywhere. Find the video, send that to them, where it says 1 million people are killed a year from this. He's a professor. He's on, Colbert. You can find it. I can't look. This is what God told me, and I'm telling you, I say this every show. The Holy Spirit said to me, "You must teach them to fish. You cannot get fish and feed it for them. Can't do it. You gotta do this. This is your life. This is your life, folks." Roy Clayton, I pointed out to many people the knots and crosses in the skies, and more often than not, they reply with cognitive nonsense. Is there any way to reveal what you think is obvious? I tell them, look up. What do you think? What do you think they're doing up there? What do you think that is they're spraying? Why has cancer risen? Why have autism? Why dementia at an all-time high? Why is Alzheimer's all-time high? Since 1996, and that's when they started spraying. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's right in front of your eyes. Look at the crisscross pattern in the sky. Was that happening when you were young? And then walk away. Laura Bryce. I don't. DeSantis is also on top of things. He signed legislation banning lab-grown meat. Big deal. I'm sorry. Nothing against you, Laura. Nothing against you. But DeSantis has had. People have tried for probably a decade to get stuff like this passed. So he's banned lab-grown meat. Wow, great. Who's going to eat lab-grown meat? Not many. Not many. So he did this. It's not enough, Ron. Not enough. Can you share with your audience about pulling metals out of your body with zeolite? Every bit. I don't know about that, Kim. I know chelation therapy is what pulls it out. I can't speak to that without my own personal knowledge. I've written Governor Greg Abbott to no avail. Crickets, of course, it's crickets. What's the name of the bill? Mega, go look it up. It's Tennessee geoengineering. Google it. It'll come right up. I think that's probably it. Okay. Who do we contact in Tennessee? Go on their website, their Facebook page. Chelation therapy, CELATION. You look that up. You'll get all the information. It's one of the things that detoxifies. The detox that you get over the counter or you're going to get in Whole Foods or whatever is not going to do it. Just so you guys know. Not me, not for me. Okay, I think that's all I'm going to do. It's 1:11. Sounds like a good number to stop at. Okay, Brian, UK, an attack. It's all over the world. It's all over the world. Let me, on a better note, go get it. I'm wearing it tonight too. Double-decker Delora Day tonight on Rumble, 6 p.m. Eastern. Going to have some laughs over there. It's more laughs than here. And this week you can do, go Sunday night. Dennis and I got a great topic we're going to talk to you about, really, really important. That's our online church service on Rumble as well. This is Stark Contrast Top. The links are below. You get 10% off this plus like free shipping. So it's like this is like in the 20s. I mean, the thing is incredible. The bottom, I wish I could put it up there and show you the bottom. Oh my God, it's so gorgeous. Anyway, all are linked in the description. Follow me. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Share this, please. Please share this. I am begging you. We've got to get this information out. Molly, let me leave on that. Do you think in our lifetime this will all get resolved? 100%. And on that note, God bless you all. Remember, go in the power of God always, because he ultimately is in control. See you tonight over on Rumble. Ciao.